Okay, what you want to do is set the seams. You don't want to use steam because it'll cause your fabric to shrink. And I'm pretty sure I did that already. Then after you set the seam all the way down, you want to flip this over and keep your seam going out and flip this over. And you want to make sure this is good and pressed out. And you want to do the same on this side. Set the seam, flip it over, and just press it. You don't really want to iron, you just want to press. Which I don't have a lot of room here. I'm having a hard time doing it correctly. But do as I say, not as I do. So then your seams will look like this. I'll continue doing that on the rest, and we will come back shortly. Okay, the next step is to cut these strips into 6x6 squares. Okay, we're going to go for it. 6.5, 6.5, because I'm going to have to trim that edge. There's cut one. Let's flip this over and square this one up. Okay, there we go, our first square. Then I'm going to do the rest off camera because there's a lot to be done. Okay, I'm cutting my final 3 squares from the strips. Now, I did lose some of my other footage. So I'll just kind of go over and tell you, like when I pressed, I was checking here. I had originally pressed the seams in, and when I first ironed the fabric, I pretty much shrunk it. So you definitely don't want to iron the fabric. You want to press, which means taking your iron and just up and down and moving it. Don't slide it around. You don't need to get all the wrinkles out like I did. So you just want to down, up, down, up, down, up. So you don't shrink it. So when I'm cutting it, it's off. I think I'm off maybe 1/4 to 1/8. So I started, instead of having the seams in, I pressed them out. And that gave me a little bit more. I'm still off, but it shrunk. So there's not much I can do. But I did go back and iron them all out instead of in, and like I said, that did help. So if you don't have to go through all that, don't iron. So what I'm doing is taking the top, lining it up on my line, and I don't know, also when I'm cutting, I'm getting this little curve here so that it's not totally straight. I tried flipping it and it ended up happening again, so I don't know what I've done to do that. I don't know if it's just the fabric, I don't know. Just doing the best I can. Whatever happens, happens. It's going to go together. It's going to look fine, and I'm not worried about it. So, I take the top line, line it up here, and the edge on this line, which is off a little because it's curved. So these would need to be 6.5 by 6.5. So I take this line, line it up there, and take the bottom line and line it up along the bottom of the fabric. So I know I'm mostly straight, which there's no perfection in this, so it's off a little everywhere I go. But like I said, I'm not worried about it. That's why I chose to do this one first, because it seemed most simplest, which it has been very easy. The cuts have been easy. It's all been, directions have been very good. It's just me and my learning and making mistakes. So, but like I said, that's why I chose this one. And like the fabric kind of like warped, I guess, from heating it too much. And then iron it more and trying to change the way I had my seams and all that good stuff. So, I'm on my last 3 here. Double check double check, because I did, when I was cutting my yellow ones, I did make a mistake. Cut one too short, and I even double checked, but I think it'd be best to have a piece of paper with the measurements right in front of you so you can look, because like I had it lined up, but I was off an inch. So luckily I had some fabric to kind of match it. And now, like I said, this is all wonky, but I'm just doing it the best. It will work the best that it can. So we're on 6.5. Oh, and then on this one, it had a white line. And I kept looking at that for 6.5, but you needed to go over. So just double check. That's all I can say is double check. And definitely close this up. I always forget to close it. And I just have to keep remembering to get in the habit to close it each time. Because I certainly don't want to cut my fingers. I already have a split in my thumb just from the weather. It usually happens when I use antibacterial soap, but I don't know what's going on. I don't use antibacterial soap anymore and still got a split, so who knows? All I know is it hurts. And I know cutting myself with that would hurt a lot too. So as long as I get as straight as I can, I'm not worried about it anymore. I'm not trying to win an award yet. So just do it the best you can. Pick something easy to start with. Make up your own little pattern to start with. Heck, pretty simple. Just some basic sewing skills, which I learned at a young age. Took sewing classes in school, and then I had a neighbor that she was a sewist, and I went to classes with her at her house. So I've been doing that since I was like, I don't know, 7 or 8. So then we got a leftover piece. So here's all our 6x6 blocks, 48 of them. I already have the selvage cut off. And now I'm going to make sure I line up. This is the one strip that's folded in half. And I'm going to line up both edges, which actually I need to see that I missed a little bit of the selvage on this one. Let me trim this real quick. It's got the little dots in there, which all that is for to keep the edge from unraveling. Okay. So I'm going to make sure both pieces are lined up. This way I can make less cuts. Get lined up there. Now I need to finish off these last strips at 6.5 inches. I've already done a couple of them, but I just have a couple left. So what I do is I take my top half and line it up on the top line, and then this side on the line. And then I take my ruler, and I need 6.5. So I go over a ways, and then I make sure I can line up this line on the bottom, and then I have a line going here and here, and then the top line with that. So let me stand up here. Okay, that looks really good. I got straight lines here, here, and here. And then double check my 6.5. Okay. And now I've got 2 strips. Now I've got my, if I get them apart, 2 strips here. And I'll continue to do it with the last few pieces, and then I will be back. Okay, the last strip I have to cut is the pink flamingo. I have to cut 12 squares out of this. Okay, I'll start by cutting off this end piece, the selvage. So I'm trying to get it by that line to get cut straight. Oops, not straight. To make it as straight as possible. And I moved and it didn't cut. Okay. Should be able to use this. It's gonna be a little bulky. Okay. So we're gonna line the top and side up. And we gotta get the right direction. We got halves and quarters. So let's see. This one's a little big to do this with. Here we go. Okay. So I need 2.5 by 2.5. Okay. Got that there, got that there. No, this one's not. Alright, 2.5. Okay, there's one. I got a few more to go. We gotta do the whole strip. I'll do one more on camera and then I'll do the rest off camera. I don't want to bore you because it takes me forever to line this up. Okay. I like the Creative Grids ruler because it works really well with this mat that I have. Because like the grid has a black line and then I have a gray line on here so I can see if I got it straight on or not. So I really like that about it. Okay. And I will do the rest off camera and be back.